My name is Zach Ellis, and welcome to my journey. I don't know where I'm going or how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to be tearing shit up every step of the way, along with a few friends, of course. Honestly, I don't know what I'm doing. I'll be building, modifying, repairing, fabricating, and racing every chance I get. But if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to smash the subscribe button, and of course, enjoy the video. Alright guys, we are back out here with the E30. As you see, finally today we are going to start the process of cutting out all the rusted floor pans in the car and making the necessary repairs. Just the other day I got my shipment of metal pans, which right there. So we're going to go ahead, open up this box, check out some of the stuff. I ordered all kinds of stuff for the car, so I should have everything for the most part that I need to make the repairs. I may have to go out and buy some just sheet metal on its own to fix some of the here and there spots in the car, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I think the best course of action is going to be to remove the front quarter panels. Once the quarter panels off, we'll go inside the car. There is a frame rail, I guess you could call it, underneath each side of the car, roughly in the center of the floor pan. I'm going to go along the sides of it. The floor pan itself is spot welded to that rib. I'm going to start by grinding through all those spot welds, so that way when I do cut the floor pan out, the whole floor pan comes right off and I don't have to worry about it being stuck to that rib underneath there. Alright, so we have made a little bit of progress now. I started with drilling out all the spot welds. Once I got through all of them, I went ahead, I cut this side of the floor out. The reason I did that is so I could get back here and see how big this ledge was. Once I got through it, then I cut this side, pulled this whole piece out, and then I cut across here, down the other side, and peeled that whole section off. Again, the reason I did it in this fashion is because I want to make sure that the integrity of this rib is still there. There's no corrosion inside there. I did use the pencil sander and sand it out a little bit. I'm going to spray weld through primer in there just so it is primed and it's not going to corrode ever in the future. I just got to vacuum it out, clean it out a little. Once I get that finished and that's hardened, then we can move on to mocking up the replacement piece. I do have a little bit more to cut on the inboard side. This spot rusted and this spot rusted because I guess there was a bolt attached there facing downward, sort of like this, just a threaded stud. So I'm assuming it just constantly being pulled on, it rusted out and pulled it right through. So we'll fix that. Maybe after we're finished the whole thing, I'll put a bolt through it, weld it from this side so that the heat shield can bolt to something again. Alright guys, a little update. We've been going at it for an hour or two. We started cutting on the replacement floor pan piece, trying to slowly get it to size. I did make one mistake. Two mistakes. I made two mistakes. One of them I'm not real concerned about. Well, I'm not concerned about either of them because it really doesn't make a difference, but I cut the panel a little short. So you see over here, that gap, I accidentally cut a little bit off, too much off over there. And then over here, I was supposed to cut this white mark before I cut the panel. I cut the panel first, and now I realize I have a 1-inch gap there that I have to weld a piece into. Again, not the end of the world, but still annoying. But the panel is coming in very well. We're gonna get this thing fit up perfectly, and then we'll move on. Alright guys, it is the next day now. As you just saw, I went ahead and started with the wire wheel to remove as much of the seam sealer as possible, and I kind of want to show you what I've discovered so far. Got a hole up top here, which I kind of knew about. I'll show you where this hole is on the outside as well. And then down here on the inside, you can see this section right here. So I had to straighten out the pinch weld at the bottom, and it showed me that the metal had rusted up behind it a little bit. The actual seam itself, not perfect condition, but not terrible condition. But the metal behind it, so it's 3 layers. It's the outside layer, the inside layer, and then the floor pan. So that would be the 3rd layer. I have to cut up into here and replace this whole section from about here to where this point starts. And on the outside, this hole here is the one up high that I have to replace. It's going to be like a little box on the face here, and then on the back side, it's just a little L piece because it's actually 2 layers there. Very, very thin metal, but I still want to patch it since it's so simple. Down here, this is the outside. So this is that pinch weld that I straightened. I'm gonna cut it right here, and I'm gonna repair this front section first. Once this front corner is fixed, then I'm gonna go to the front side here, which is this piece of metal, and it's gonna go right here, something like that. And then this is the actual outboard section, which I'm going to I'm gonna cut it somewhere around here. So there's a lot of layers here. Since there are so many layers, you gotta figure out what layer you wanna repair first, and then move your way inboard or outboard. Because obviously you don't wanna repair a middle layer before an outer or inner layer, because then you can't get to it later. And then we have another bit of weld or rust that I found. I guess it's the jack point. I don't know if you can tell by camera, but there is a hole right here. The actual pinch weld is bent over and then it's corroded through on this side. I'm going to attack that after I get this front corner kind of secured, kind of get it where I want it to be. Alright, so we've discovered a little bit more rust. As you can see, all of this here is completely rusted out. Basically what that means is this is a two-layer situation here. So this layer down here that you can still see, that is what you would see on the outside for the pinch weld. The inside layer you can see here is completely rusted out. So from this leading edge, I got to recreate a panel that comes all the way back to roughly here. This side here was bent up, but I was able to hammer and dolly it flat again. So what that means is I've got to cut here all the way across, all the way up to this leading edge, replace this piece. Once that's replaced, then I can move forward into repairing the front corner and then welding in the floor pan finally. So we've got everything inside is completely welded, it is finished. The final step now for this front right side is to get this jacking block into place. I'm not entirely sure where its exact placement is supposed to be. I'm just going to put it up flush against this portion here, and then I'm going to make sure it's level this way, and then I'm just going to drill two holes, tack weld it in on those spots, and then there's 2 holes on the bottom. Well, there's 4 holes on the bottom side, but there's 2 holes that you can actually weld through, and I guess I'm going to try and fill those with weld to get that thing secure. Once that's done, I'm going to get the corners closed up, weld those corners up, and this project should be finished. Well, I've got a whole lot of grinding to do, but I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm gonna get it all ground, get it as smooth as possible, fill in any little holes that are left with weld, get those welds all flattened out, and then I'm going to prime the whole thing. And then the next video, I'll be knocking out the driver's side. Alright guys, so we got the floorboard finally finished. That was a lot of work. I can't sit here and lie to you and say that it was easy. It was a lot of work. Having the replacement panels purchased from, was it Valcas garage? That saved me a ton of time, because for me to go, I don't even have my bead roller here. I would have had to go get my bead roller from Maryland, set it all up, make all these panels from scratch. It would have taken way too long. So that was a big bonus. And then the jacking points, also that was a huge time saver, having those metals. Even though they're not very complex, 1 or 2 bends, kind of straightforward, it still saved me a ton of time. I'm happy with how it come out. There's still a few pinholes that I have to weld up, but I'm not going to bore you to death or drag this video out any longer than it needs to be. I'll do that at the very end when I'm finishing up everything. I'll hit all those pinholes and grind them. This took me like 18 to 25 hours, 18 to 25, something like that. It took me 3 days, 3 roughly full days. I wouldn't be super excited to do this again, I'll say that. I think mine was also much worse than some are. I would say if your car's floors were worse than mine to start with, plan on a lot of work. If I had just a few pinholes here or there, this would have been way easier, but the whole entire jack point was gone. I mean, you could see the front tires is how bad it was. Driver's side is going to be harder. It is going to be a lot more work, unfortunately, but that's just how it is. Hopefully you guys like this video. If you have any tips, tricks, criticism, please leave it in the comment section down below. I'm not no professional by any means. I'm a hobbyist for sure, and I know there's tons of room for improvement. So please, like I said, let me know in the comment section down below. If you're interested in seeing more of the rust repair to this car, maybe get some encouragement or information on how you could tackle this to your own E30 or whatever car you have, definitely consider subscribing to the channel. That way you don't miss anything else, and I will see you guys in the next rust repair video.